Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Kalaye Sundarakaram, Sadaika Priyadarshanam, Ajnana Nashakam Devam, Sadgurum Muralidharam, Murali Mandita Karakamalam, Munijana Mohanam, Vyatyastapadam, Vanamala Dharinam, Prema Bhakta Mandala Nitya Kirtitam, Sri Premika Varadam Ashrayeham. Radhe Radhe. By the immense grace, Kripa of our Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Maharanyam Shri Shri Muralidhar Swamiji, and by the causeless mercy of our Madhuri Sakhi Sameta, Premika Vardhan Thakurji, we are blessed to continue this Srimad Bhagavatam Utsavam at Atlanta Namadwar with the smarana of yet another Leela of our Kuti Krishna. Yesterday we saw the Damodar Leela by Tejaji. Today we are going to listen to Govardhana Leela. So, our Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita, he says this famous sloka, all of us know this sloka, Paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya cha duskritam, dharma samsthapanaya sambhavami yuge yuge. And as we all know, the most common meaning that we can gather from this sloka is that Bhagavan says, I come down to this earth, I reincarnate again and again in every yuga. Yuge, right? And it's not just in every yuga, he comes down, even in the same yuga, he comes down multiple times. And when he says yuge, he's coming down to establish dharma, for the dharma samsthapanarthaya, that's the reason he comes. So whenever there is a decline in dharma, yada yada hi dharmasya glane bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyam. That is the other sloka that goes with this. And Bhagavan says, whenever there is a decline in dharma and whenever the adharmic activities increase, that's when I reincarnate, that's when I come down. He says, Srijami. So he says, he takes his own form again and again, and he takes the form that's relevant to that yuga, depending on the needs of the devotees. So what is the purpose of these avatars that happen? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam. So Paritranaya sadhunam is the goal. So the intention of Bhagavan's avatara is to protect his beloved devotees, the sadhus. And why is he protecting the sadhus? They are the ones that are upholding dharma that Bhagavan wants to establish. So when we think of this sloka, the Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam, whenever we think about it, we think about Rama Avatara or Krishna Avatara or any of the avatars, we think Bhagavan came to kill Ravana, or Bhagavan came to kill Hiranyakashipu, or end the life of Kamsa, things like that. We think of asuras. But our Guruji says that's not the only purpose. This Vinashaya cha Duskritam does not need to be an external asura. It can be within the sadhu himself or herself. If we see all the Vrindavan Leelas, we see how Bhagavan does this Paritranaya sadhunam, Vinashaya cha duskritam in a very different way. We find, of course, a lot of asuras are killed, that is there, but we also see the Paritranaya sadhunam aspect of correcting the devotee within themselves. That is seen a lot. And what is the greatest enemy that these sadhus end up with? And that is called madam, pride. So our Guruji says, as long as we have pride, we can't even think of Bhagavan. And so in this Madhura Geetam, our Guru Maharaj sings, Garvamillada arvam vendum, Garvamillada arvam vendum, Karmugil kannane kana kana yena, Karmugil vannane kana kana yena, Padi tirivai maname kannane, Padi tirivai maname. So our Guruji says, Garvam illada arvam vendum. So Garvam is pride, pride illada. So you need to have arvam, which is enthusiasm, without any pride. And that's the way your bhakti should be. And Purnima ji in her pravachan, she quotes Kunti Devi from Kunti Stuti. She says, Janmaishwarya Shrutashribihi Yedamana Madapuman Naivarhati Abhidatum Vai Tvam akinchana gocharam. She says, as long as we have pride about Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta or Shri. Shruta is education, Janma is your birth, your family, Aishwarya is wealth, Shri is also wealth. So if you have pride about any of these things, she says, Naivarhati Abhidatum, you will not be eligible to chant Bhagavan Nama. What does she mean by that? It means that the pride will not let you chant Bhagavan Nama. Because chanting Nama actually has no eligibility. Our Guru Maharaj famously says that for chanting Nama there is no qualification that is required. Actually, to chant Nama, you should not have any qualifications. That's what he says. But it does not mean that people who are rich or who are in power cannot chant Nama. It only means that if they let that power, the pride, go to their head and they are proud about it, that will not let you chant Nama, Bhagavan Nama. So our Guru Maharaj says that this entire Govardhana Leela and several other Leelas in Bhagavatam, the Paritranaya Sadhunam happens only at this level, where Bhagavan is removing the internal enemy called pride. And so our Guru Maharaj says, when you worship Bhagavan, remember that you have to worship without any pride. And so one is having devotion, praying to God without pride. The other side of it is Kainkaryam, doing Kainkaryam to Bhagavan. And when we are doing Kainkaryam, again, it's a very subtle thing. Kainkaryam is very subtle. And even though all of us, everybody intends to serve, somehow our mind has this beautiful capacity to feel proud about everything that we do. No matter what we do, no matter whether we do it in a good way or a bad way, we are always proud of it. We always feel proud that we are doing it. And that's a bad thing, that's a problem. So even when we serve, maybe in a temple, we go and we are helping with the Prasadam Kainkaryam, we always feel, oh, I did something good. If you start thinking in that direction, that is not good, because you are kind of retaining the feeling that you're doing something great. So that pride should go away. And our Purnima ji hears quotes from Sai Satcharitra, where Shirdi Baba gives this beautiful meaning for service. He says, Seva is not rendering service, retaining the feeling that you have an option of doing the service or not. If you think there is an option of doing that service or getting out of that service, then it's not service at all. So that's a beautiful concept that Shirdi Sai Baba says. And so when you're doing service, you should completely surrender to Bhagavan and do the Kainkaryam and not expect anything in return. For example, if you're doing a Kainkaryam and you're expecting people to appreciate you or give kudos to you, then it's not real Kainkaryam. And our Guruji says, if you expect thanks from Bhagavan, then you are not a servant at all. And Purnima ji actually quotes some very funny examples from our ashram. She says, sometimes our Guru Maharaj would call a devotee and say, put a kolam. And this devotee would diligently make this kolam. They'll spend like half an hour, 1 hour doing it, and they would do a beautiful kolam. And maybe 10 minutes after that, our Guruji would call another devotee and he would say, wipe down this hall. Completely wipe it down for another program that's going to happen. So the person who did the kolam, they would start like becoming frustrated. They are like, I did this beautiful kola, I offered it to Guruji, offered it to Bhagavan. Why did he not accept it? He didn't like it or what happened? And Purnima ji says here that once you have offered it, that's it. The Kainkaryam is done. Whatever was asked of you, once you do it, then that act is done. We should not expect praise from the person, or Bhagavan can do whatever he wants to do with it. You should not expect something in return. So that is what Kainkaryam is. And so just like we said, Guru Maharaj says in that Madhura Geetam, Garvam Illada Arvam. So in your Kainkaryam, there should be no Garvam, there should be no pride. You should just have that enthusiasm without pride. And our Bhagavan has not just given Kainkaryam to normal people, he has given Kainkaryam to all these Devatas as well, to Brahmaji, to Indra and all the other Devatas. And sometimes even they slip. They are also Bhagavan's devotees, and when they slip, what does Bhagavan do? He does not punish them or remove them from their power. You don't see stories of Brahmavadam or Indravadam anywhere. You only see Sikshanam. It's always teaching. Bhagavan is always teaching them to become better. So we see in Brahma Mohana Leela, we see that Brahma forgets for a moment that he was created before he could create others. And what he does, he starts testing the creating skills of Bhagavan. So he carries away all the gopas and calves and he leaves Krishna alone. And within a few seconds, Bhagavan creates this entire whole set of gopas and calves just like the original, and they continue on with their life. It's all in his form. He has created that entire Brahmanda. And they continue, and then a year later, Brahmaji comes back and he's completely surprised. He doesn't know which is the original. He doesn't know whether the one that is there now is the original or the one he took away is the original. So he's completely confused, and at that point, Bhagavan shows Brahmaji several other Brahmandas with several other Brahmas doing the creation, showing that Brahmaji is just one of the tools that Bhagavan is using. And here, our Ramakrishna Paramahamsa actually gives a great analogy of a cow being tied to a rope. So there is a little bit of slack, and the cow is like roaming around the rope, and the cow thinks that it's completely free. Even though there is a rope, because there is slack, it has some area to roam around. There is some grass to graze and all that. So it thinks that it has freedom to move around. It thinks that it's completely free. And but whenever it tries to escape from there, that's when it tugs the rope. That's when it knows that it has some limitations. And that's how these devatas are. They are actually tethered to Bhagavan, and they're given certain roles and certain power by Bhagavan, but they think that they are Bhagavan. They think that they're God, and they start becoming arrogant. And that's when Bhagavan has to interfere and do some course correction. So in this Govardhana Leela, our Shukacharya says, there is Vadam, not of Indra, but of his pride. And again, going back to the Paritranaya Sadhunam sloka, you can look at it in two ways. One is, Indra is the sadhu here, and the Vinashaya cha Duskritam is the destroying of his internal pride. And the other way to look at it is that the Vrajavasis, all the Gopas and Gopis, they are the sadhus. And Bhagavan did this Leela to protect the Gopas and Gopis by destroying Indra's pride. While he is doing all this, on the other hand, he is also establishing Dharma here. What kind of Dharma is he establishing? He is establishing, one thing is he is doing the greatest Dharma of Loka Nirvahanam. So he is doing Srishti, Sthiti and Samhara. He is doing the Sthiti here, which is keeping things running. And as he's given these roles to Indra and others, he's kind of maintaining their role and kind of curbing their power. So that's one thing he's doing. But on the other hand, he's also doing with the Gopas and Gopis, he's protecting them from the Indra's pride. And he's establishing Bhagavata Dharma, which is, if you come and surrender to me, I will protect you, no matter what. Even if I have to lift a mountain and do that, I will do that. That is the vrata, that is the vow that he is taking here. So now let's kind of shift a little bit and get our minds to Vrindavan. It's a beautiful day in Vrindavan, and our Kutti Krishna, he's about 7 years old. He's peacefully sleeping. And here, as he's beautifully sleeping, Shukracharya begins this Leela by saying Bhagavan Api. He wants to remind us that it's Bhagavan who is doing this. And Shukracharya, he reminds us in two Leelas, he kind of says this Bhagavan Api. It's in Rasa Leela, where he wants to remind us that it's Bhagavan who is doing Rasa Leela. And in this Leela, in Govardhana Leela, before anybody would question how a 7-year-old can do all these things, can lift a mountain and all of that, he's saying Bhagavan Api. So Bhagavan is the one who is doing this. So we need to keep that in mind. So in Vrindavan, our Kutti Krishna, 7-year-old, is sound asleep, but everything around him is a big hustle and bustle. Everyone is running around doing something, and there is nobody to wake him up. So every morning, our Kutti Krishna would wake up to the sound of Prabodhanam, with the Gopas and Gopis singing, and with Yashoda Amma and Nanda Baba having butter and milk for him. Today there is nobody. He's kind of left all alone. So he kind of overslept, and then with all the sound and hustle and bustle going on around him, he finally wakes up. And he wakes up. He's not in a good mood because nobody did prabodhana, and nobody like cuddled him in the morning and all that. So he's not in a very good mood. So it's not a good day for Indra already. So and he walks around and finally finds Nanda Baba. He tugs at his kurta and asks him, Appa, what's going on? Why is everybody like in a hurry? What is everybody doing? Nanda Baba says, Krishna, today is the day of Indra Puja. We have been doing this yaga every year. And Yashoda Amma and all the Gopas and Gopis, they are preparing food, they are cleaning the place, they are doing everything for the priests to perform this yaga, this sacrifice for Indra. And even though our Bhagavan is Sarvajna, he knows everything, but he just plays along. He says, why do we really need this Indra Puja? You see, Krishna, we are all simple people, we are all cowherds, so we sustain only by milking the cows and then churning butter out of them. And for the cows to be healthy, they need to graze on good grass, and for that we need to get rain. And our Indra is the one who gives us rain. And so we need to please Indra and keep him in our good graces, and that's why we are doing this yaga. But Appa, I've never seen this Indra Mama. Krishna says. And no, Krishna, don't insult him. He's not your mama. He's our Bhagavan. Parjanyo Bhagavan Indra. You see those clouds? That is Indra. He comes in the form of clouds and he pours the rain. You will get rain only if Indra comes. He is pleased. So let's not insult him. Let's do this puja. Initially, Nanda Baba was kind of pleased that our Kutti Krishna was asking all these questions. But then, as the questions increase, he's like, okay, this is getting too much. I don't know where he's going. So he's trying to shut him. He says, see, we are doing this for Indra, but we are also doing this puja for lineage, traditionally for a long time. Our lineage has been doing this puja. And any puja that you do as a tradition, you should never stop it. The Devata will get offended. But our Kutti Krishna will not be deterred. Today he wants to irritate Indra, so he starts going on this discussion about karma. He says, Appa, if we don't do our duty, will Indra give us rain? And Nanda Baba is kind of like scratching his head. He's like, he won't give us rain if we don't do our duties. So we have to do our duties and Indra will give us rains. So what are our duties, Appa? So Nanda Baba says, our duties, we are Yadavas, we graze cows, we sell curd, milk from what we get from the cows. That is our duty, and we do all of that honestly. So Appa, if we do all our duties so honestly, then Indra should just give us the fruit of that karma, right? Why do we need to do this additional special yaga as a bribe to Indra? It feels like a bribe to me. Nanda Baba is completely confused. He doesn't understand any of this argument. So then he says, Kanna, so what do you suggest? Krishna says, now we are talking. So we are actually forest dwellers. We are wanderers. We don't have any house or permanent place. In Vrindavan, we live under the protection of Govardhana. We graze our cows on Vrindavan. So should we not be doing puja to Govardhana instead of doing to Indra? He seems to be the one protecting us actually. Nanda Baba doesn't know what to do. He says, yes, I agree. And but his only concern is, we have prepared all these food for Indra Puja, we made everything ready, what do we do with that? Krishna says, don't worry Appa, we can repurpose all that for Govardhana Puja. So he calls all the Gopas and Gopis. They have been toiling all day for the Yajna, for the Indra Yaga. He tells them, go home, wear some nice clothes, prepare some more food, and then come back. We'll do a big Utsavam, we'll do a celebration. See, during the Indra Yaga, it was performed by all the priests. all the Vrajavasis would help them do the yaga, but they would not get to participate in it. So now they are excited that they are going to be part of the celebration. And not so even though our Kuti Krishna was talking to Nanda Baba, explaining all the things that he was explaining, everybody else just agreed. So it was like our Purnimaji says, it is similar to how our Guruji says. Guruji would talk to maybe 2 or 3 bhaktas, and all the other bhaktas in the background, they would all nod their head, yes, we can do it. So they would all get in and they'll do whatever needs to be done. Similar to that, here there were like 500 families of Vrajavasis, and they all just went along with whatever with whatever Krishna was saying. So they all went home, they dressed up nicely, and they all came back to the Govardhana Puja. So they were all, Kuti Krishna was the one who was actually performing the puja. There was this priest who asked, what is the puja vidhana for this one? We don't have it in the books. Krishna says, I am writing it right now. As we go, I am making it up. And he starts doing the puja, and all the Vrajavasis are doing Nama Sankirtanam. They start offering Naivedyam to Govardhana. So when they start offering Naivedyam, suddenly our Kuti Krishna says, Appa, look there, look up on the mountain. And there is Govardhana, Bhagavan. So our Bhagavan himself, he has taken another form as Govardhana, and he is taking all the offerings that are being given by Krishna and all the Vrajavasis. And he stood there, and all the Vrajavasis, they are completely thrilled. They were telling, imagine, we have been doing this Indra Yaga for so many years, we never saw Indra even once. But this Govardhana, the first time we offer food for him, he came and he is accepting it himself. Such Pratyaksha Palan. Next time we should only do Govardhana Puja, no more Indra Puja. And everybody saw that Bhagavan is accepting the prasada and started eating it. And Nanda Baba was very happy because he thought there is excess prasada. So he is happy that initially that Govardhan Maharaj is eating it. He starts eating, he is eating. And now he starts getting worried that there will not be enough food. He is not stopping at all. But then Krishna makes sure that everybody has enough prasadam. They all have prasadam. And here our Guru Maharaj says, in Bhagavata Dharma there are 2 main things. Doing Nama Sankirtana and feeding the Bhagavatas. So Krishna has already done the feeding of all the Bhagavatas, all the Vrajavasis. And after that he says, let's do a Pradakshana of Govardhana with Nama Sankirtana. And he is the one who initiated this Govardhana Parikrama. So even today, if you go to Vrindavan, Govardhana is around 21 kilometers in circumference. You will see sadhus doing this Parikrama. And you will see that it's like an astonishing thing that they do. For every step, they will have this small murti of Govardhana with them. And for every step, they will do a Shashtanga Namaskara and then get up and place the murti in the next step, do another Shashtanga Namaskara and do that. They do this for 21 kilometers. And they do this every day in Vrindavan. So our Kuti Krishna was the one who started this parikrama, and he asked for all the gopis, all the cows, the calves, everybody to join. There is this 108-year-old party who says, I want to join too, but I don't think I can walk all this 21 kilometers. And so to make it easy for them, Kuti Krishna says, you all come in carts, bullock carts, or on top of cows. You can do that. And if you sit on a cart and go, the cart will go to Goloka and you will also go to Goloka. So whoever does this parikrama will go to Goloka. So everybody does the parikrama, and then after that they happily go back to their house. They are very happy having participated in the whole celebration, versus previously during Indra Puja they were not able to participate as such. They were only able to help. And they are like very happy, and they have decided that they are not going to do Indra Puja any longer. So now turning our attention to Swargaloka, our Indra is now sitting there. Poor Indra is sitting there twiddling his thumbs. He had this special puja calendar. He knew when each puja would happen, in which place, and what prasadam he will get. So this day is actually marked in multicolor because he usually gets very tasty, colorful food was from Vrindavan. He actually spent the previous day fasting so that he could taste all the food. And this day is almost at the end of the day now. There's no food. So he calls his assistants and says, go see what happened. It's almost the end of the day, no food has come from Vrindavan, what happened? And so one of his assistants goes and they inquire around, they see what happened, they see a lot of food that was like yala with food there left over, and there is nothing left for Indra. And they go back to Indra. And the person who is conveying this bad news is very, very careful. He says, Maharaj, there is bad news and there is worse news. Which do you want first? There is no good news, only bad and worse. He says, so what is the bad news? So he says, no food from Vrindavan today. So what is worse than that? What can be worse than having no food? No food forever from Vrindavan. All the Vrajavasis, they actually did puja to Govardhana, and they decided that Indrayaga is not important. There is this little boy called Krishna who kind of told them that you don't need to do Indrayaga anymore, and that they should do puja to Govardhana. They all did this Govardhana puja and did Naivedyam to Govardhana, and they all ate everything and it's all done. They celebrated it and they enjoyed it so much that they are going to do Govardhana puja every year and no Indra puja. Indra gets so mad, he's fuming. He's so mad, he's angry at Krishna. So our Purnimaji here says, when we want to scold others, human beings, when we want to scold others, we call them either animal names like Naye or monkey or something like that. So, but when Devatas want to scold, they say, you Manushya. That's how they scold. So Indra here says, that Manushya, little boy, how dare he? He's so talkative, he's so arrogant. Does he think he's a jnani? That he can replace this traditional puja that they've been doing? What happened to this Nanda Baba? What happened is his buddhi. Just because everything is flourishing in Vrindavan, he has become so arrogant. Let me teach these Vrajavasis a lesson. So he calls the Samvartaka clouds. So those Samvartaka clouds are the ones that are generally called upon during dissolution, during Pralaya. So they are Pralaya Mega. Imagine the rain that pours out of these Samvartaka clouds can completely dissolve the whole earth. That is the Pralaya Jala. And Indra is asking the Samvartaka clouds to pour just on Vrindavan. Does Vrindavan have any chance? So it starts slowly raining now in Vrindavan, starts slowly drizzling, and all the Vrajavasis are actually happy. They are like, oh, all these years we did Indra Puja, it never rained. Now we did Govardhana Puja and it's actually raining. It's nice because they want rain, right? They don't know what's coming. So they are very excited initially, but then within seconds it starts hailstorming. So it starts becoming a hailstorm, and big hailstorm comes and it starts flooding. Everything is floating within seconds. And if this happens to us, imagine, right? At least one of them should be thinking, maybe we made a mistake doing this Govardhana Puja. Indra maybe is angry and he's pouring down because of that. But nobody considered that. Nobody even thought about it that way. They just picked up all their kids, they picked their carts, and they were all benched. Where did they run to? They all ran to Krishna. So somebody gives you an idea and you suffer because of that. Would you go to the same person and ask for a solution? Most likely not. But that's what they're doing. Is the Gopas and Gopis were all running to Krishna. And our Guruji sings here beautifully. Tiruvadi tamarayai gati endru tanjamadaindhen. Tiruvadi tamarayai gati endru tanjamadaindhen. கைவிடாமல் காத்திருவாய் பிரேமிக வரதா. கைவிடாமல் காத்திருவாய் பிரேமிக வரதா. என் முயற்சி ஏதுமில்லை. என் முயற்சி ஏதுமில்லை. முயன்று தோற்று தற்போனே முற்றிலும் புனையே சரண் புகுந்தேனே திருவடி தாமரையை கதி என்று லஞ்சமடைந்தேன் கைவிடாமல் காத்திருவாய் மிக வரதா கைவிடாமல் காத்திருவாய் மிக வரதா. So they are all coming to the Tiruvadi of our Krishna. They all came, they looked at Bhagavan and they said it looks like Indra, he's decided to destroy Vrindavana with his rains. Indro Nashaya Varshati. That's why he's pouring. Our Krishna says, yes, Indra has decided to destroy not Vrindavan but himself. Indro Nashaya Varshati. Because he's pouring this rain, he is creating a problem for himself. Don't worry, I'll take care of you. And here talking about bhakti, our Purnimaji says that for you to have devotion, there are two things that you should not have. One is ahankara, which we already saw, which is pride. You should not have that. The other is mamakara, where you think this is mine. You have attachment to worldly possessions. You should not have that. And yesterday at the Damodar Leela Pravachan, our Tejaji mentioned the 2 inches that Yashodama was trying to try, when Yashodama was trying to tie Krishna, the 2 inches that was missing. And the 2 inches is the mamakara and the ahankara. And Yashodama, even though she is a Bhagavata, she had those. She had ahankara, she had pride that Krishna was hers, and she had mamakara, she had attachment to Krishna. And that's why she was not able to tie him. And so our Guruji also says here is that if you don't have ahankara and mamakara, then Bhagavan will have ahankara and mamakara for you. He will be proud of you. He will say, this is my bhakta, I'll protect him no matter what. And that is the situation of the Vrajavasis here. Our Krishna here has so much of mamakara for them that he would not let a single thing happen to them. He sees all these Vrajavasis are kind of struggling in the rain, in the floods. Everybody is like catching hold of their kids and whatever small possessions they could save in this big deluge, in this flood. And he's feeling this immense mamakara. He's like, this is my goshti, my group that's under this big problem and I have to save them. So with this sankalpa, Krishna lifts the Govardhana hill, the mountain, with his little finger. And here Purnimaji says, why little finger? Because it is said that in the Virat Swarupa, the Vishwarupam form of Bhagavan, in his hand there is Indra. So Bhagavan here, to correct Indra, he is using Indra to lift this Govardhana mountain. And our Guruji says, he says in this Kirtan, the way Krishna lifted Govardhana was so effortless, so anayasa, so easy. Adanna parama illai ilaya illai mayil pilidana. Adanna parama illai ilaya illai mayil pilidana. Sattana urugayal uruganati tuti gokulam kaatanaye. Sattana urugayal uruganati tuti gokulam kaatanaye. Gopala குளிர் மலையல் உன்னை தேடி ஓடி வந்த கோப கோபியரையும் குளிர் மலையல் உன்னை தேடி ஓடி வந்த கோப கோபியரையும் ஆவினம் கன்றையும் அரவணைத்து உன் திருவடியில் வைத்து காத்தன் கோபாலா கோபாலா கிரிதர Gopala. So our Guruji here says, Adanna Parama. So the way he's lifting it, it feels like it's a small fruit. And then he thinks, no, it's actually the way he's lifting, it's even easier than lifting a fruit. Ilaya. Is it like a leaf? Is he lifting a leaf? But some leaves may be heavy. So he's saying it's like lifting a mail pilidana. It's like lifting a peacock feather. That's how easily our Putti Krishna is lifting this Govardhana hill. And our Guruji also says, Sattana Urugayal Uruganatil Tuki. It's like, just like that, very easily. Anayasama, he is lifting the Govardhana hill. And our Punimaji here says that that's how Leelas are. They are effortless, unplanned, and Anayasam. So the moment he lifts the Govardhana hill, he looks around everybody and he says, all of you come under this Govardhana. And when he lifted the Govardhana, there was this big chasm that was formed, right? When you lift a hill. And there is flooding going on outside, all around you. And who in their right mind would actually come to a lower portion, into a gadda, into a chasm, and below a child, like a 7-year-old, who is kind of lifting this mountain. But that's what all the Vrajavasis did. They had complete faith, and Bhagavan could see in each of their hearts, and he could see that they had complete faith in him. Still, just for their assurance, he said, no, there is no problem, I'm holding on to this, all of you come. So they all come into the Govardhana, under the Govardhana hill. Even the calves and cows and all of the carts, all of them come. Our Guruji sings, Paditirivai maname kannane, Paditirivai maname. Madukandrugalum mekum siruvagalum, Madukandrugalum mekum siruvagalum, Taneyagi vidi garbate aitanena, Taneyagi vidi garbate aitanena, Paditirivai maname kannane, Paditirivai maname. Devakonum mamadam kolla, Devakonum mamadam kolla, Mamale chuki garbamaditanena, Mamale chuki garbamaditanena, Paditirivai maname kannane, Paditirivai maname. So everybody, all the Vrajavasis, they are so happy that they got to spend satsanga. They were able to do satsanga with our Krishna. They had him exclusively all to themselves. Krishna couldn't go anywhere, they couldn't go anywhere. So they are all under this satsanga, under the Govardhana hill. And the Gopa kids started playing with Krishna. They asked Krishna to play. He says, I'm now holding this mountain, so let me be the umpire. You all play around me. All the gopis are planting kisses on Krishna's hands. And Krishna says, if I knew this, then I'll be lifting mountains every day. And our Purnimaji here says, this is the only Leela where all the Vrajavasis took part. So Krishna did various Leelas, as we know, and each Leela was for someone. Some were for Yashoda Amma, some were for the Gopas, some were for the Gopis. But in this case, all the complete Vraja, everybody was there. All the Vrajavasis are there. And that's why our Meera Mata loves this Leela. It is also said that there is one Gopi who was not actually born in Vraja. She was not a Vrajavasi by birth, but she married into the Vraja. She married a Gopa. And that mother-in-law of that lady, she did not want her daughter-in-law to see Krishna. She was like, whoever has seen Krishna, they're all crazy, including me. She herself was crazy. So she wanted to keep her daughter-in-law just for herself. So she didn't want her to meet Krishna at all. So she had been hiding her from Krishna, Krishna from her. So far that Gopi, she has not met Krishna. But at this time, during the Govardhan Leela, there was nowhere else to go. All the Gopis and Gopas were there under Govardhana hill. And she had to sit down, there was no other work. And she was full-time in the satsang for 7 full days. Saptaratra Leela Vinodam Sapamayana Balagaivam Nisha Pramana Sancharinam Nisha Pramana Sancharinam मुरलीधरं सप्तस्वरयुत मुरलीधरं गोविन्दकामधेनुं भजामि अरविन्दाक्षनामधेयं भजामि गोविन्दकामधेनुं भजामि. So she knew no other Leela. This was the only Leela she knew, and for Saptaratra, for 7 nights, 7 days, she was in this satsang. This was the only Leelas that she saw, she experienced, and she did not live to see another Leela. And it is said that she was the one who finally came as Meera Mata. Because Meerabai celebrates, this is the only thing that she celebrates, is the Giridhari Krishna. She has love for this Giridhari, and for no other Leela she gives that importance. Meera Prabho Giridhari, 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 Meera Prabho Giridhari. So finally, after 7 days, now there are no more clouds left. All the clouds are completely exhausted. Indra's darpa, his pride, that is also exhausted. Till the last drop of rain was falling, he had some hope. He had hope that things will turn around, something will happen, but nothing happened. Everything is exhausted. Indra asked all his assistants, "How is Vraja? What happened to Vraja? Is it totally gone or what?" And they say, no, everything is fine. And the greatest insult to Indra actually was that, the old Patima, the 108-year-old, even she did not get a cold. Nobody got a cold. Not one person got a cold or anything. So everybody is fine. And Bhagavan says, now everybody can go. And he keeps the Govardhana hill exactly where it was. And now Indra it's his second or multiple disappointment day. He is now coming down. He finally realizes that it's Bhagavan who has done all this. And Bhagavan, after sending everybody home, he's sitting on a hill. And he didn't want to actually talk to Brahma or do any sikshanam in front of others. He doesn't do that. So he calls Indra, and Indra comes and does this stuti to Bhagavan and asks for forgiveness. And or Bhagavan says, basically, it's good that you saw your own folly and you come to your senses. And at the same time, Surabhi, Kamadhenu Devi, she also comes there, and she has been seeing what Indra has been doing. And she thought Indra was the Bhagavan. She thought all the cows and calves, they were all her children, and Indra was the protector. And he was actually trying to kill them, to destroy the whole Vraja. And she couldn't take it. She came to Bhagavan and she says, all these days I've been thinking that he is my Indra, he is my Bhagavan, but in reality, Krishna, you are my Indra, you are my Lord. And you are the Indra for all the Goshti. So she names him Govinda. She gives the name Govinda, and she wants to do Govinda Pattabhishekam for Bhagavan. And Purnimaji says here an interesting thing. She says, in Krishna Avatara, Bhagavan made an interesting choice here. In Rama Avatara, when Bhagavan chose his family, he decided that Dasharatha would be the king. He would be in a king family where he could get coronated. And there was so much drama with the whole Pattabhishekam thing in Rama Avatara. So in this case, he chose Yadukula, where there was actually a curse that none of the lineage will be ever coronated ever. So no Pattabhishekam for them. And this time, the only Pattabhishekam that happens in Krishna Avatara is the Govinda Nama Pattabhishekam. It is the Nama that Bhagavan wants to establish through this Avatara, through this Leela, and it is done by Indra and Kamadhenu. Our Swamiji beautifully sings, Abhishekam, அபிஷேகம் இந்திரனும் பிரேமிக வரதனுக்கு பட்டாபிஷேகம் அபிஷேகம் அபிஷேகம் இந்திரனும் பிரேமிக வரதனுக்கு பட்டாபிஷேகம் இந்திரன் வந்து தலைவணங்க காமதேனு ஆட்பொழிய ஆகாசகங்கையுடன் ஐராவதமும் வர ஆகாசகங்கையுடன் ஐராவதமும் வர தேவர்கள் பாட்டு பாடி குமாரி கோடிய கோவிந்தா பட்டாபிஷேகம் அபிஷேகம் அபிஷேகம் இந்திரனும் பிரேமிக வரதனுக்கு பட்டாபிஷேகம். So this Govinda Nama is so powerful. It's everywhere. When we do Achamanam, it's there. It's in Tirupavai. When asked about it, Mahaperiva said that Govinda Nama is the most cherished Nama of all Namas of Bhagavan. And Punnimaji says that's the only Pundalikam where you use the call and the reply with the name Govinda. Say Sarvatra Govinda Nama Sankirtanam Govinda Govinda. When Draupadi was in trouble, which name did she call? She called the name Govinda. The name protected her even before Krishna could appear. And in this avatara, only Nama Patabhishekam and the Nama Patabhishekam is done by the Devas, by the Indras, with the aid of Airavata and Kamadhenu. And I'll end this with one beautiful song of Guruji. Govinda Kundan Namane Aradu Govinda Kundan Namane Aradu Indani I thank Atlanta Namadwar for the opportunity to do this Harikatha. Thank you so much, and thank you to everybody for listening to me. Gopika Jeevana Smaranam Govinda Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai.